We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high very, very soon. We're just under it, just scratching it, and we have to look at what's going to happen while other people are talking about some triple top, lower high, whatever stuff, and that can not be the case, right? So let's jump right in here. As always, we're going to do it now the other way round. Good morning to you, everyone. Let's have a great kickoff in this week. Yesterday was public holiday, but we are seeing here Bitcoin really nicely on the weekly chart. Big fat green candle after having this inverse empire candle here, which supposedly is very bullish. We have hit yesterday all the way up to 110,500. All of this move has been basically done in 24 hours or within 24 hours. So this is, we cannot forget that this is a weekly candle. It's still gonna be open for 5 days and 19 hours. Well, some people are looking at this. Daily candle is open since 6 hours or so. 5.5 hours, and they are already like, this is a lower high. Man, it's the daily candles. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is the higher time frames that we are always looking at, and we are going to just pull up here the monthly chart, right? And if you're looking at the monthly, you clearly see it, right? The picture is forming. We have the inverse head and shoulders as preached, I don't know, years now. We have the breakout. We have the retest, almost lost it, right? But we have the retest, bounced nicely, and now we have a candle body that is on the monthly that is higher, maybe, well, in 20 days, closing higher than every other candle body in history, maybe, right? We don't know, but there are certain indicators that are telling for this to happen, right, and bringing us to the $130,000 to $150,000 mark. And obviously that is something that is never a guarantee, right? I mean, everyone predicts left and right. This is not a guarantee, but the evidence is extremely strong for that, right? So let's look at a little bit here at the indicators quickly before we move on, right? To just check where we are. We have the TSI. You know that the TSI is one of the indicators that I personally like a lot. It has correctly called the previous two tops and the previous two bear markets on the bear cross and the previous two bull markets on the bull cross, right? It's not an exact science on the very low, but it is good enough for a big fat trade. And we said that we are going to be very cautious, even calling the top, once that TSI hits this downward sloping line. Then we are going to look at least at the possibility that here could be a top, and we're going to call a bear market for certain if we have a bear cross, and it's even more magnificent if we hit here first and then we get the bear cross confirmation, right? So to put this into perspective for those of you who have never seen this, Let's do this quickly. So you have the Bitcoin price here, right? So you have your peak here at the top, and this is a monthly, right? So you are somewhere in this monthly candle if you would really sell on this, but here you couldn't even because it's the beginning of the chart. You have the bear cross, marking correctly that from here we are dropping into a bear market, then following the whole bear market, and then here it marks the bull market, right? So people would have, actually it marks the bull market here. This is the cross, right? So you would go in here and have the run up here, right? Then another bear market marked, here's the bear cross, right? Here. So this whole bear market would be correct, and then here is the bull market, right? So initial from 15 to 25,000 you would miss, but then you would have from 25,000 all the way to 109,000 right now a hit. So this is how it looks, and now we don't have any hit of the trend line, nor do we have any cross. So this says continuation for a little bit more, and like small split on this line is a month, right? So that would put us, if we keep this trajectory and the pace as we have it now, would bring us exactly to the Bitcoin top prediction in September, okay? Exactly at the moment, right? This pointed up very steep before and pointed to March. This can happen on corrections that this changes, right? But the overall setup does not. Second, RSI. The previous RSI was here, 91.82. We have hit RSIs as high as 76 this cycle already. We are now, the first time since a long time, it's the first time since January, so the first time this year, we are in a slight overbought territory with this pump to 110K. We are far away, in my opinion, from this. And even here we could put a line saying that this is an outlier or whatever, right? And then say, hey, if we hit 88, we should be considering that the top is in, right? Second part of the equation. TSI, hit. RSI, if the RSI looks like this, TSI hits, I would not see it as complete as if, for example, the RSI is up here at 87.5 or so, and the TSI hits, and I'm like, okay, that's it, right? Momentum. We have the stochastic RSI, cross, bullish, here, and pointing up and diverging to the outside, indicating that we should have a month-long positive momentum just like here. Or here it happened on the upside, right? Here it also happened. Let's check these out, right? So you have it here. Even on the upside, we had a massive 193% move. Here, when this happened, like a middle of the way, we had in total we had a 76% move. And now this is happening again, and we are having so far almost a 30% move, right? So there's the way to go. But this happened way lower in the stochastic RSI. So technically, so there are two scenarios on this momentum, right? So you have this, right? Short-lived, dump, short-lived, dump. This could be another short-lived one. We go all the way down, and then we have the big momentum up again, right? We don't know. But the fact that we have pointed into this lower zone could indicate, I mean, we had this also here, right? Short-lived, bam, and then we went, right? But momentum is currently pointing to the upside. So I would say that this pump, at least, it should continue for a while. So we are going to keep an eye on this. This is not super clean, but these are three things that are pointing in the right direction. We could do way more. We could pull up the Gaussian channel. We could pull up EMAs and so on. But what we are going to pull up here is the highest correlation that you can get. And I'm just going to show you a couple of these, right? And I want to make a point here for everyone that is a little bit confused with these charts. So this is Bitcoin following global M2. So global money supply. These charts are not the same everywhere. I'll show you some examples, and there is a reason for it, or several reasons for it. But they are all pointing in the same direction no matter how you set them up, right? So this one here, for example, says the dip is over. We are in a move. We are going to go as high as 116K, new all-time high, and then we are going to pull back all the way back to 110K or so, right? That would be the story of this chart. Now you look at this chart here, and this chart tells you we are going to 120K or 125K, and then we're going to pull back to 115K, okay? So why are these charts different but also telling the same story, going to 160K, here going to 130K? Not like the story overall is up, right? One reason is that people calculate the global M2 differently and include or exclude certain countries. By either not covering all countries in the world or covering all countries in the world, and then taking also statistical errors or whatever, right? So we had, for example, a while ago, we had a calculation error with a 10x in India money supply that brought this chart to 250K, okay? So the basis for this chart is a different one than for this chart in terms of M2. So basically that means the monetary global M2 expansion of the US plus the one of China plus the one of India plus the one of the European zone plus Great Britain plus Japan plus and so on, right? So some people make it a little bit easier. They just take the big couple of big countries and that's it, right, in their equation. Other people, they take like 180 countries and then, yeah, they maybe also not finding all the errors by doing so. So it's not an exact science, but the baseline story is good. And then a second factor that I want to show you is this one here. So this guy basically makes a living on Twitter of these global M2 chart comparisons, right? So one thing that I want to direct your eye on is the correlation on the left side, right? So this is the 71-day offset. This is going to be important in the next couple of minutes as well, how much the offset is, because this is not discussed in the previous two charts. So in this case, the charts of this guy are way better. So the correlation for the 71 offset is 59% on the 30 days, and then 89% on the 60 days, and then 89.7% on the 90 days, which already shows you that looking at daily charts and M2 doesn't really make any sense because the correlation is way too low, right? And then the somehow, for whatever reason, the 180-day is way lower than for example, if you go beyond a year. Maybe there is a statistical divergence in one, somewhere here in the chart or so that that lets this drop lower. But overall, you see the tendency is that the correlation increases, and almost 90% correlation is good enough for me to say, hey, this is going to be one of my leading indicators for where the price is going, without me saying, oh, I'm going to observe this on a weekly basis, but rather give me a month, even year-long direction, right? I'm going to observe the upper end and the direction, but I don't care about dips, okay? So 71-day lead offset is this. What we can see on this offset is we see that it's not like massively correct here in this correction, but the correction is happening, right? With Bitcoin, even and we see front running by global M2 larger correction, which basically means, okay, months of pain, right? That's behind us. We dipped a little bit more after this already turned around, and we covered it even on this channel that this is the turnaround, right? Now we had this dip, and it was absolutely magnificently echoed. This dip to the lowest side is the 5th of June, and this screams for, hey, let's go up, right? Somewhere to 120K. It also says, hey, we are going to go way more. If this is the 5th of June, then this is going into September. And we see that then it slows a little bit down the monetary expansion, right? which means that, hey, we're probably going to go up hard once more and then slowly but surely over the next weeks and months, right? Dips included. I don't care about weekly performance, I said it before. Now, there is a second chart here. If I go to the next one, it's a 98-day offset, okay? It's a little bit different. And we see here that one is really wrong in the first 30 days, but it gets a high accuracy in the 60, 90, and even a 1 year. So meaning that basically the chart is shifted so that M2 is not front running the Bitcoin price by 71, but by 98 days. And then we would be in this dip here, also coming out right now, but we would go way higher, right, on this model. Which means that now you have basically three things, right, or two main things. One is how is M2 calculated as a basis, and the other one is what is the offset taken for these charts to predict where we are going, right? So I would say this chart is with the correlation. Both charts are good enough for telling which direction we go, but they are not good enough to predict exactly the dip and when it exactly ends, right? So basically we can tune out the noise and just say, okay, we're dipping. I'm just going to go away. If it psychologically affects me, I'm just going to go away for a week or two, and then M2 fixes this, right? So if this is true, then we are on the verge of a massive move to the upside to about 120 to 130K yet already right now, poised to do this within, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. If the other chart is true, it's a little bit less of an expansion, right? But we are but both charts, and this is the cool thing, both charts say we are going to go higher. How much? We will see, right? And there will be an end to this, and it's probably going to be an end before or when. There are also a couple of scenarios when M2 turns around and shows a macro decline, right? So, and then let's say the macro decline was visible right now. Then probably a lot of traders that trade based on this would already sell off now, and that would lead to a decoupling, right? So usually it is like, if there is a high correlation, the model usually works until too many people look at it and trade, basically already taking away the end result of what the chart shows before, and therefore causing a decoupling. So the M2 model is now being looked at quite a bit. So that might cause this to decouple eventually at some point, okay? But that's basically it, right? That is what you have to know about the M2. So be careful, but also I think for me right now it's one of the North Stars, as I feel that the correlation is high, and that in dips people tend to, when it goes down, people tend to not look at M2 and not reason with M2 and panic in other directions, right? Let's go a little bit here to the chat. So hey, good morning to each and every one of you, especially my rare hodlers. Good to see you, everyone. May I ask you to smash the like button right now here for this first part of global M2 expansion and what Bitcoin has in store of us. I think all-time highs are coming again, and it's going to be a really, really good time. We're going to talk about altcoins later, the altcoin explosion imminent. We're going to talk a little bit about our favorite altcoins like MK, Ethereum, Ecomi Veve. But first, let's welcome especially the rare hodlers, Pro Legendary, Sub Boys, Bodo, good morning to you, coffee in hand, Trucking Hank, good morning to you as well. Good to see you. I hope you guys enjoyed the last week and what was coming also for Ecomi and Veve. We also, besides the rare hodlers, have in the house Blaze Haze every days, moin or morning. Divine the Sing, awesomeness redefined. Thank you very much, you too. Private Info says, hi all, I'm on holiday so can finally stay up late enough to catch a live stream. Good to see you, Private Info. Vic says, have you looked at treble swap on base? No, I have not. No clue what that is. Someone subscribed, welcome. Troy is also here. Hello PH and chat. Good morning to you as well, Troy, or good afternoon or good night or whatever. Helen Moyam, morning Mr. PH. Good to see you, Helen, as well. So if you want to support this channel, you can do it in a free way by smashing up the like button. If you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, notifications on. Very important. If you want to do more than that, there is one tier that you can subscribe to for a couple of bucks per month. You see all the rare hodlers here. You get access to a Telegram group where I also post when I can't make it for a morning stream or anything, or I'm physically ill or whatever. I'll still post some things in there. Also the M2 setups more frequent, especially in dips when psychological help is needed. Not a psychologist or anything, right? Don't come with a lawsuit or something like that. But let's get back to the content. Let's get back to capturing what is going on in the market. And I want to go a little bit more into other top signals, right? And why the top is not in. So we have this here. Historically, the BTC market cycle top is in when the 200-week SMA crosses the prior all-time high. What does that mean? Basically this. The SMA, the 200-week SMA is the white line, and the crossing points are marked with blue. And the previous all-time high is here. The 200-week SMA is here. And the crossing did not happen yet. Each and every time that basically this crossing happens, the top was in. Okay, here we see it clearly. Top, crossing, the top here was in. Okay, previous top, crossing, the top was in. Previous top somewhere here, crossing, the top was in, right? So, lay down on the couch and share. Yeah. Let's see. How is the meme? Is this altcoin season in the room with us right now? Yeah. I know. It's like maybe we do the crypto psychology session in the future, right? Hey Adam, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Big A. Good. Okay. So one other thing is the BlackRock ETFs is the fastest ever to break 70 billion, and by far, right? 5x faster than the old record held by gold. You see it only 341 days, and look at all the other ETFs, like how much they took to break that, like 2,000 days, 1,700 days, 1,691 days for gold. Of course, their dates back to times where not everyone was sitting at Trade Republic and putting, I don't know, money on the phone in, right? So of course that plays into the adoption. Nonetheless, it's magnificent, right? It's crazy how fast this is. And you see like 70 billion, that's kind of joke, right? If you see the overall crypto market cap, and you see that the IBIT is like the largest ETF, 70 billion is not that much money, to be honest. I mean, there are companies here that could easily put the entire amount that is in it right now into the BlackRock ETF if they wanted to. Okay, so companies with a couple of trillion market valuation. I mean, you know that there are still a couple of companies that have a higher market cap than the entire Bitcoin, right? So there is still room to grow, right? Way more room to grow here for the Bitcoin ETF. But as I said before, I don't really care how fast this happens. It will happen. If it happens slower and there's another bear market, for me to get more Bitcoin, for me to even get a couple of % more of a Bitcoin, I will be very happy about that, right? So let's just say we're topping out at 150K this cycle and we drop by 50% in the next bear market. Then I'm going to buy hard at 74,000 or 75,000, right? Of course. Let's see how shallow the bear market dips then will be. It depends also on the underlying FUD and crisis. But I believe that after this bull cycle, and it might take longer than we think, right? We believe maybe it's over in September, maybe it's over in November, who knows, right? But maybe it's not even over this year, who knows, right? It depends on what M2 is doing, like how the money printing goes, how much the entire world is moving into a bull market right now. That, I think, will determine how far we go, where we're going. But I think there will be a bear market eventually. And if the bear market comes along with a very hard crashy scenario, then I predict this to you already. The story will be, oh, see, no one needs Bitcoin anymore. Yeah, right? Yeah, Bitcoin, this and that, it's too volatile, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad that I have gold with my 40% move and so on. Yeah, it will happen again. The FUD will be extreme. Many people that came in this cycle, and there will be more people coming in this cycle, will be crying because they bought at 130K and they will be down at 70,000. As we know that usually the bear market dip goes somewhere to the previous all-time high, which was 69,000. Last time where we had 20,000, we went to 15,000 again. So slightly under that previous bull cycle all-time high. Could we go to 65,000? Absolutely. Imagine the tears, the valley of tears that this will be for people that bought beyond 120K, being minus 50% in a so-called secure asset, right? Yeah, because they don't get the entire story that this is then a blessing. But we will see. It will happen again. I don't think we are anywhere close to mass adoption or people understanding what they have in front of them. I think there will be another chance to accumulate something like 1 Bitcoin, even though it requires you to basically save up for 2 years and then buy the bottom somewhere at 60K. Yeah, something like that, right? So, yeah. Also, it doesn't help that Michael Saylor is running around basically recommending people to take out a loan and buying Bitcoin no matter where, because people will get scared even more if it's on a loan than only in like their investment, right? But that is just me predicting the future. Private Info says, I wonder if all the institutions will make the lows a lot higher going forward or not, because for many institutions, wealthy investors, it's the first time in crypto. And for many, so now we have Wall Street in it, and Wall Street says Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETF is high risk asset. It's basically tech. And when there is crisis, the Wall Street playbook says sell off risk on assets like tech and stuff like Bitcoin, right? And move into conservative, old school, risk averse stuff like gold and bonds and I don't know, like health care and food logistics and whatever, like the food companies, like all this Unilever and stuff like that. So maybe they all press the sell button on their ETF and cause a massive liquidation wave inside of the crypto market, right? So that could be happening in a post bull run, post altcoin season scenario, right? So it could have, where everyone says, institutions, it could be that the institutions are going to be the one that are fudded out the most, because ultimately the institutions, they have to, I mean, imagine like a Meta Planet or even a MicroStrategy or one of these companies that runs the strategy getting margin called and has to sell off their Bitcoin. You basically get Terra Luna on steroids. Okay, so this can happen. I'm not saying it happens, right? Let's hope it doesn't happen, because this is going to be like a nuke into the market, right? But if any of these companies just is forced to sell their Bitcoin and therefore the price drops and therefore they are forced to sell more at the lower prices, it's going to be nuts, okay? Troy says, yes, the leverage is getting crazy on Bitcoin. I am looking for a bear market low to get in also. Yeah, exactly. So of course, that's the other side, right? Everyone will determine, hey, where is this bear market low to get into? But we are going to cover it on this channel together with all the indicators that we're looking at. We're going to use RSI and whatever, right, to determine, hey, where is it more or less, right? And we don't want to overpay, for sure, right? Definitely I'm not buying at numbers where I see, I mean, right now what's Bitcoin's market cap? Like 2 trillion. So we need another 2 trillion flowing into Bitcoin to double the price, which means if we then have a 50% setback, we could still buy at this price, right? So is there really a reason for me to buy heavily right now in Bitcoin? Not really, right? I'm already like more looking to the altcoin side. So that's one part for me. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, MKate Vibe says, you are aware what's coming for MKate. Clubkate loading, NFTs on the drop zone coming next week, and tomorrow AMA with Neo Tokyo to promote. Also the L3 app chain and gangs for revving up. People aren't ready. But let's see. Let's look at that actually. Let's look quickly altcoins and look at MKate. So I like thanks for the summary, MKate Vibes. Of course I have an MKate bag, and of course I'm bullish on MKate, okay? So we're seeing here that the total 2 is sitting at a crucial level to break through, right? And the total 3 looks even more promising, but we want this to break out of the 1.2 trillion and approach the new all-time high, which would be a massive rally for altcoins overall across the board, right? We have this trend here, this uptrend. We're observing it, right? We will see when exactly the market is ready to have altcoin inflows. Many people say it will not happen. Many YouTubers are very cautious in saying that it might happen. I think it will happen. Look at this. So this is the crypto total market cap excluding BTC and Ethereum. So we're looking at all other altcoins except weak Ethereum. We are at a massive 4-year compression. It's a 3-month candle chart. So we might be breaking out in the next. So there might be room for another very flat and tiny 3-month candle, which would bring us into September. But then it's either side, right? Either make or break. It's then pump time for another 3 months, right? Something like here, 3 months, boop, right? 3 months, craziness. So that might be happening. Now I clicked it away. But anyways, I like people are also Ethereum will come back. I think like people are bearish on Ethereum. Ethereum has done a turnaround in the orientation where it is. Massive institutions are building on Ethereum. Also, Ethereum will come back. Quick look at MKate also. I think we are for MKate, just because MKate Vibes is here, so this one's for you. I think we're in a massive accumulation zone that happens between those levels. We're just in the middle, basically fair value in the accumulation, but then very likely as soon as there's some altcoin season, we will see a massive move out of this. We could even argue that we have this downward sloping overhead resistance, right? So once we break it, pam, we go back to all-time highs, which is just the beginning probably. Like all-time highs is still a couple of, it's not even $100 million market cap. Like all-time high is like 50 million or so, right? So there is a lot more possible to come. Maybe we are before that, if we take longer on the overall altcoins, revisiting the all-time low, or at least the chart low, don't know if it's the all-time low, which would be a crazy buying opportunity for me. And then we go, right? That, my opinion. If altcoins never came back, don't blame me. We are all degenerates in the space trying to make it. We're taking the risk because without risk, we can wait forever, right? As someone said, Lamborghinis don't fit in wheelchairs don't fit in Lamborghinis, this way around. Yeah, so we're taking risk now to make it, right? Doesn't mean that we have to over leverage ourselves, only play with the money that you can afford to lose when you're going for opportunities like MCATE. Also for Bitcoin, and everything else is the same. Like if you can't afford to lose, if you would have to fast like a month because you aped it all into crypto, you're doing something wrong, right? So don't fucking do that. Okay. Ecomi, my love and hate at the same time, is a little bit more greenish. Still trying to figure out what it wants to do here at the very bottom. MK Vibe says, aim tomorrow with Neo Tokyo. Think you not aware of what the drop zone is? Have a look. I will have a look. Thank you. I am not aware, to be honest. I'm very honest here with you. I'm not aware. Like, there are so many altcoins and so many things, but I really like MK, just because of also the fundamentals, but I can't follow everything like to the T. I will try to check this out, but Neo Tokyo's big one. Promoting with them is really big deal, I think. Troy Perry says, I will be fasting 2 months, but I need it. I mean, 2 months is it's a really long time, man. It's a really long time. Let's see what happens here for Ecomi. I mean, we saw some announcements which are really good for Ecomi. Lisbon, I think, was a success for Ecomi, also for Veve. We see some high ticket items selling in the Veve app, which is good. We see the user numbers climbing in the Veve app again, especially over Lisbon. We gained 100. What is the top here? 100. Yeah, it's roughly 80 new users, which is okay-ish, I'd say. Like users non-zero wallet, right? So it's not a sign up. These are only users that are at least one collectible in the wallet. If you sell that, if you have only one collectible, you sell it, this shard goes down one wallet, right? You like it more when you see what Russ and team has been cooking. Oh yeah, let's see it. Let's check this out. I love it. This may be old news, but I found out today that you can swap OMI on Trust Wallet. Not as cheap as Exchange, but another option. Yeah, and also, I think you mean like swap from one, like to base? You mean swap to base, or you mean like swap crypto into OMI? Yes, Lisbon seemed to bring back some energy to Veve. The floors on some things are moving up, and Stacker is getting used more. Yeah, that's really great. I mean, like Stacker and OMI being used, that is really important for the overall sentiment here. Let's check out. Let me refresh this chart. Not that it's not refreshed, it is refreshed for the users, but for the market activity. Let's check out what's going on in the market. So this is all a couple of minutes ago. People buying Russell. Okay, that's the okay. People are minting comics. People are buying collectibles. Actually, some collectibles here also appearing that like Darth Vader. Someone's stacking Marauder comics. Is there anything with comic burns or so that we need to know about? Because someone mentioned comic burns a while ago. Emperor's Fist, 23 minutes ago. Well, actually, wait a second. Let me put this a little bit here. Then you can see how many minutes that was ago. Like, someone's stacking Marauders hard. What the heck? Yeah. No, I mean, traded from ETH to... Oh, okay, got it. Maybe other coins too, not sure. I only had ETH to try. Yeah, that's good. GM fam, good to see you, Mewtwo. What is going on? Also, for those interested in Devi, make sure to watch recent roundup on YouTube. Big things coming once they release the TradFi company and launch the Devi exchange. Yeah, I think like you mentioned two really great projects here. I mean, MK and Devi, I really like both of them. Really, really nice. So that's pretty good for everyone who is like deep in these projects. Go follow it. I will try to watch both so that I know what I'm talking about here. But yeah, like time's a bitch and so on. Yeah, a lot of comic stacking going on here. Is this some like whale or so? It's like 6485. Is this? Yeah, we'll check tomorrow on live stream or whenever. We are going to check out Bezosman a little bit and so on. But we see a lot of stuff, like also old school stuff is being bought. Spider-Man jump into action. I don't know if this is the rare or the secret rare. That's a rare. So someone is buying that. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of collectibles are being bought, and this is all like everything that we looked at here is like within the last hour. So I would say, just from a rough feeling, the secondary market purchases have increased in numbers. Okay, I would say. Volume wise, I don't know how many gems are being traded and so on, but like if I see, okay, this is all 1 hour ago, like a shitload of mints and so on, that's really good to see, right? That's good for Veve. Let's put it that way. Bernard Donaldson, good morning. PH, I hope you're doing well. Yes, doing way better now. Good to be back in the driver's seat here. Guys, make sure to smash the like button, by the way, if you enjoy this stuff. Also, I want to make you aware, like if you want to get 1 million and you know this guy, like here's someone, 1 million Omi, sorry, no, not $1 million or so, 1 million Omi. Reward of 1 million Omi, or a Veve Superman collectible if someone can find Veve user Toot and have him reach out to me, says 63SW here. So let's help here, because he probably wants a collectible from that collection. If you know this Toot, or you are this Toot, and you reach out to this guy, then you can have 1 million Omis as a reward. I think this is also a good use case for Omi. So he's looking for Spider-Man and Toot's collection. Let's see. What happens there? Let's check out the Veve. What is going on with Veve? I mean, obviously drops after such a event are a little bit slowed down, but we got the next Maserati collectible here. Looks really good. Also, another one has hit level 100 MCP. Raven 100. Congratulations. So we get some comics. Also, 30-day only. They're doing this now frequently. Like the comic launches, you have 30 days, then the comic just gets burned, whatever sold or didn't sell. Weavers, tutorials how to build avatar, challenges are rolling. Like there's a lot of activity, and this is really something that we have to value on Veve, because I mean there's so many projects that just stop posting and so on, but Vive's like every day, multiple posts, new drops, action, community, giveaways. You see it here, right? Informant, get ready, Tokidoki's Kawaii. There are spaces. I think there's a lot going on, even though with no momentum, and that's really, really good, right? Really good. Also a lot of coverage here on the NFC Summit. Yeah, so let's hope they do the Germany visit here and so on. I just want to get to another of these events. I couldn't make it to Lisbon. I'm really sad about that, but I want to get to another one, right? Get to wear my Veve hat and so on. Everyone knows a Toot. Yeah, probably. Okay. Wind in the hair. Like, it seems that the Veve fam had a blast, and this is really good. I mean, they did the London meetup, they did the meetup there, they did an NFC beach party. I think that looks really, really good. Yeah. So I hope that was great. Also, they talked about Omi powering where the world collects. This is a really nice slogan, right? Now they have to, like, we will have to see the burns coming up a little bit more, for this to go good. Yeah. So likes up for this. I think it's really nice. So all in all, guys, we're looking at a really great time, I think, with M2 coming up. Altcoins probably going nuts. Eventually, can take a couple of months more. Who knows? If not, we're fucked. But we still have Bitcoin in our portfolio because you did obviously follow the Bitcoin rule, always more than 50%, right? My Bitcoin rule. Also, if altcoins are getting wrecked, automatically your Bitcoin percentage increases. That's then an unfortunate fact. But overall, like in healthy portfolio times, still Bitcoin should be more than 50%, because if you would have a real big bet on the wrong horses, still Bitcoin just has to double to offset all your losses. Whereas if you're 99% altcoins, you're just getting wrecked and it feels bad and you're fearful that you lose your entire investment and so on, and then you see a coin dying and you're, oh my god, right? So that's not good. It's easier hodling if you have the strong horse Bitcoin, and then you have some pocket rockets, where you can say, okay, if these do 100x or 10x or whatever, I'm really, really well. Ultimately, in my opinion, the end game is to get as much Bitcoin as possible. So for me, some altcoins like MK, Devi, Omi, VeChain, Arweave, and so on, they are means to get more Bitcoin, right? But to do that, they now have to really outperform. Otherwise, it's just not worth. And once the cycle is over, I'm going to lay out for you if my investment in those was worth it or not. I have no problem in laying that out if I really made a profit on altcoins, so that it is worth for me to invest in altcoins that way. Obviously, there is, in the next cycle, I'm probably going to be able to play it better. But still, I want to really get an analysis out of how this played out for me, percentage-wise, right? Because if you see that, okay, you could have theoretically bought Bitcoin at 15K, you would be up 6x to now. So that means that all my altcoins where I'm break even or slightly in the loss, they need to do at least a 6x, and then it starts being worth it, right? So of course we are in altcoins to do way more than 6x, but 6x is already a number, right? What the heck? Of course, that would also tell you, okay, you would have had to buy the bottom exactly at the right point to make that comparison, right? So, but even if you put a 20,000 Bitcoin price as an average to DCA in the bottom, then you still have to have a 5x, so the altcoins have to outperform a 5x. It's possible to make that call, right? By the way, let's do some chat Q&A. I have a couple of more minutes. If you have anything regarding Bitcoin, altcoins, Ecomi, Veve, MK, Devi, whatever, drop it in the chat. Let's have a little chat here in the end of. Let's try to do that every stream, right? To have a little chat in the end. If you have anything, if not, I can fuck off and just do just do whatever I do. But yeah, if you want to talk about anything that is coming up, if you have any worries or so about crypto, then just let me know. Or if you think that I've missed anything in the market to cover, then also let me know. Then we can look at it. Let's give it a couple of more seconds. And while we do that, while we see if there's anything in the chat, then smash up the like button while we do that. Everyone who doesn't put in any questions or remarks in the chat, smash up the like button instead, right? That's important. Trucking Hank asks, what X will Omi do? Okay, so let's look at this. So let's just assume, that Omi. Okay, so let's assume that Omi from where we are goes back to, and by the way, this is the logarithmic chart. The non-log chart looks like this, right? So you basically can't see anything anymore. That's why I'm on the log. But you should, that's why it looks different. So let's just say it goes back to this accumulation zone, which is not unrealistic. That's 30, almost 30, that's a 36, almost 37x from here. That's not unrealistic in my opinion, right? I would say, I at the moment, as things are going, I'm having a hard time to believe that in a medium case scenario, Omi goes back to all-time high or beyond. I'm not excluding that possibility, but I think that like for everyone who buys in DCAs in the lows here, already going back to that level of 008, it would be really nice return, right? For me personally, I would just, if I buy, like if this stays low and I buy more, I get my average down even more, I'd probably go with a big profit taking here around the 006 already. But also you have to see, like, market caps can quickly go insane in an alt season. They can. They don't have to, but they can. I mean, I remember last bull run, Doge went to 80 billion and the top 50 coins were all above 4 billion, right? So having a $1.5 billion market cap or so is absolutely, I mean, there's no problem in that. Any news on this Devi? There is going to be news according to MK Vibes. There's going to be an AMA or something like that. Like there's going to be a talk today or tomorrow. Oh no, actually it's already out. There is a recent roundup on YouTube following what MK says, so you can look at that. Puka Jotrich says, I don't know if you addressed it, but what about data of 1.4 billion secondary market sales? Oh yeah, so that is coming from the presentation. And I'm not sure if it's $1.4 billion or 1.4 billion sales. Yeah. So if a $1 comic trades back and forth, each time it gets traded, it adds one round to the sales. Okay. But it only gives you 2.5 cents secondary market fee for Veve, and 6.5 cents for the licensor if it's Disney or something like that, right? So yeah. Oh yeah. Hey Nick Lilitska, hey PH, recent subscribe to your channel, became a member. Are there any perks, and if so, how can I benefit? Of course there are. Love your content, thank you very much. Hey Nick, if you can, get in touch with me on Twitter so I can give you the link to our Telegram group. So you can get into the Telegram group if you want, and there will be all the other rare hodlers that you have. And also I have to still get you on my subscriber screen. You are not there yet, but I promise for the next time I will do it. Put you on there with your mint number and so on. Other than that, you get the cool medal here on the side, and future will hold more perks for rare hodlers. Still getting there. A little bit difficult to juggle everything, but thanks for the support. Can't contact you on X, and I wrote an email to you. Okay, so I can use the email. I will try to find the email. You can imagine that that email address is like full of promotional spam of people trying to get me to shill their coins, exchange, NFT projects, and so on. Like I get I don't know how many emails per day on that email, but I will look for your email and then I'll try to respond to that email with the Telegram link. Okay, so give me some time for that, but I'll try to do that. Can't contact you on X probably because of me not following you, right? Probably sales instead of dollar amount, but still impressive activity then, and a good point to market IMO. Yeah, exactly. I fully agree with you. I mean, it's still really good, and that's why they have it on the presentation. And it's good for, like, this point is good to show in a pitch to whatever potential future licensor. To say, hey, look, like, I mean, there are so many sales going on. Your product can be that, like, a secondary money machine of creating fees for you, right? With better demand and higher prices, we will see dollar amount increase eventually. Yes, I agree with you. I mean, they're still minting new collectibles and so on, but I mean, if at some point there will be money flowing into it, the floors go up, suddenly it's worth minting more for flipping and so on, people will come back for that, right? So we saw it already with Grogu and Pram. It took a couple of minutes, but it sold out, and suddenly the flippers, they could make a secondary market profit, right? So the moment the floors rise, flippers are going to be active in trying to snipe lower listings away and trying to relist them at higher prices, helping the floor go up, helping the market to get liquidity and so on. That's why I always say this debate about, there's a debate always going on in Vivi, like, but only the real collectors, we don't want the flippers. It's like, hey, a healthy market always has everything. Like, they have whales, flexers, like whales that are flexing, real collectors or whatever, real enthusiasts. If you look at the Bitcoin market, you have traders, you have trading bots, you have institutions, you have Bitcoin maxis, you have normal hodlers, you have long-term traders, swing traders, I don't know, you have everything. Like, a healthy market has everything. Also, the real estate market has everything, right? It's healthy, it has institutions, it has people that buy real estate, renovate, throw it into the market, people that buy and resell real estate. You have people that buy and hold, they live in the real estate. You have people that buy and live in one real estate, buy a second one and rent it out to others, right? So you always have the same structure in every healthy market, right? So yes, exactly. Flippers provide liquidity due to trading volume, and they're natural phenomenon of a market that is getting somewhere, right? Because flippers, they try to make a profit out of the discrepancy, right? If there were no flippers and people's like undercut like 20 gems, floors would just drop into into nothingness, right? So the flipper goes, let's say there is a secret comic, it's at 100 gems, there is a listing at 50 gems, the flipper buys the 50 gem guy, like the guy gets 50 gems, is happy, the flipper is happy because he gets to list at 99 now and keeps the floor high, right? So then the next one to have this comic is forced to buy at 99, right? That's what the flipper does. Whereas if the flipper wasn't there, the floor would drop to 50 and then the next one undercuts to 30, right? Bullshitting. Okay, on the other side, you have the collectors coming in, sees, oh my god, floor at 30, nice, I buy this, right? So everyone gets something out of this, right? You'll see. How can we get the bots back on Vivi? They will naturally, like, bots are on Bitcoin as well. No one cares about the bots on Bitcoin, right? Like, there are trading bots on Bitcoin. There are bots that buy the dip on Bitcoin. May was sent on 4th of June, 9:10. I will look at it. I will look at it here. Yeah, that will make it easier. Thank you for that. Will make it way easier. Yeah. But anyways, guys, that's unfortunately I have to jump now. But thanks for that. We are crashing for what? Like, where are we crashing? Yeah, exactly. Anyways, guys, make sure to drop a like on this live stream. subscribe to the channel, notifications on. Let me know in the comments below what you think as well. And wherever you are on the world, have this great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I see you in the next live stream, video, or short. Bye.